Hi, I'm Christopher Hein, and today we're going to talk about the way I pin and one of the horrible things I think that happens in pinning all of the time that we actually generally don't even think about in Aikido. And I think we really should think about it because it's a really important thing. And I think it's a mistake that everyone makes all the time. I made it for years until, for myself, I really started breaking down how pins work in Aikido and what the goals are in the pins and how to most efficiently apply the pin. So I'm going to call Josh over here and Maya today, and we're going to go to work. Josh, Maya? All right. Okay, so actually we're going to start with Josh, a little movie magic, and I'm going to talk about the pinning, I'm going to talk about some basics of pinning, and then I'm going to talk about what I think is the worst mistake I see consistently in the sitting pins. And I'm only going to cover sitting pins right now, so there are a myriad of stand-up pins, and maybe we'll put that in another video, but I'm going to talk about just a tiny bit about the takedown and then about the pin. So in Aikido, generally, we're going to be taking down from the arm, whether that's an ikkyo or a nikyo or a yonkyo or a gokyo or a rokyo. We're probably going to be using this. If we get him backwards like this, this is probably a sankyo pin, right? So it could be either, and this is called ureose, which just means arm pin takedown, and this is a gyaku, and this is regular ureose, right? So I'm on this side, okay? Now, either way, I'm going to always drop my inside knee first, and my inside knee is going to be behind Josh, right? So let's say I'm doing a standard old ikkyo pin here, right? Okay, and I'm going to take Josh down. My inside leg is going to drive Josh down, and Josh needs to be ahead of me. So meaning Josh is down now, and my knee's down right after that, right? So I drive Josh down, and then my knee goes down. If I do this the opposite, I have no power, right? So if Josh is up and I'm down, my weight is already all on the ground, right? So whatever weight I have, you know, if I weighed 110 pounds, then I'd be lacking 110 pounds. If I weigh 200 pounds, I'm lacking 200 pounds, right? So my pin would be significantly less powerful if I put my knee down before I drive him down. So as you're bringing him down, always drive him down ahead of your knee. So Josh's shoulder locks down before my knee locks down. Okay, now, when I'm here, I want to make sure his shoulder is secured 100% to the mat, right? So I am in this upright position, driving his shoulder down as much as I can. I want that shoulder locked down, and I would like his arm in a straight position right now, okay? Now, depending on what takedown will depend on the set of holds I go into, but the next thing is to lever my knee over towards Josh's head, right? So I'm going to lever my knee this way, and that's where we're going to start to get our pin. Now, try not to have your foot too far away from your knee as you do this, right? So you really don't want this. You're lacking power. If you're in this position, bring your foot over, and that'll give you a lot more power to drive his arm over. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I've got his shoulder locked down, and I'm levering his arm this way to get him to go. Okay, now we're going to start to talk about that horrible thing I was talking about. Now, Josh right now, like most of us, at a certain point in time, you start to lack a little bit of flexibility with your arms behind you, right? And so you won't see this in children or real flexible people, but right about here is where Josh is tapping. Now he's tapping because his shoulder is totally tight right now. So if I were to try to go into the full variation of this pin with Josh right now, and I did it all the way, either his shoulder would go out of socket or I have to go into a stupid position, which means I go like this or something, right? And I try to pin. Now I see Aikido people pinning like this a lot with people with tight shoulders, and this is a horrible idea. I just put myself into a weaker position just because I need to accommodate the shoulder. So the form of this pin is being executed, but actually the reason for the form is not being executed. So right now I'm weak. I've got really no ability to hold Josh down. Josh, I took a lot of pressure out of Josh's shoulder so I could come this way, right? So if I didn't do this, his shoulder would have popped when I did this, right? So it'd probably dislocate if I kept driving, his hand come up quick, if I just keep driving my pressure down, right? So let's look at Maya, movie magic. So this is Maya now. So if we use Maya, Maya's got a lot more flexibility with her arms behind her. Now, in order to pin, I can pin perfectly straight. So see how my spine's really straight? Maya's shoulder's still locked down. She's got all this flexibility. And then I drop down here. I secure her hand, however it is I'm going to secure depending on the pin I'm doing. I drop to her elbow, depending again on the pin I'm doing. And I lock her all the way down. Then the arm goes up. I remove the rest of the slack. Now you see her foot just come up? Her foot came up because This got tight right now. And then I lean forward a little bit. Now here's another pin problem you see, the opposite of this one, which is really a horrible way to pin, is if they're flexible like Maya is, and they just from right here start to lean forward. Look how far over I can go before Maya's really starting to feel the pin, right? I'm really leaned over too far. But if I take her arm up towards her head, so I'm going this direction towards her head, I tighten that up. Now you see she moved her foot? If I kept going this way, that would probably tap her right now. But I can get even more by leaning into her just a little bit, right? So when you have someone who's really, really flexible, their arm can go pretty far this way as long as it's in a down position. Now the further down I bring her arm, or her hand like towards her legs, then her arm can go even further over. But the further I take her arm up over her head, you see how her hand just came up? It's because it's getting tight right now. And I start to take it over. Now it's much, much tighter. Now, if you have someone like Gumby, right, and this was Maya probably about 5 years ago, right? So as we age, all of us, and it happens relatively quickly, start losing flexibility behind us. And it's because we build bigger muscles in front of us, so we lose that flexibility behind us. So if you have someone who's really like Gumby, they might still be able, even with the arm really far up, they might be able to not tap. So in that case, what we do is we bend the elbow here and we crank the hand towards the head, right? So what that looks like, let me have you turn this way just a little bit. Okay, so what that looks like is, as I'm here, I pull that elbow in tight to me like this, and I continue the hand up. Now, you see how quick she moved? That's because this got really tight really, really fast. I can continue that hand up here, and it would be just like you would see a Kimura or a hammerlock, something like that from a grappling style, where I'm moving the hand up, and that really, really cranks into the shoulder really, really tight. So I've removed a lot more slack by bending this arm like that. So again, the process is always drop the inside knee, make sure the shoulder's locked down. Then drop this leg and put the arm along your body. Now as you do that, this is all tightening, so it's just got super, super tight. Secure the arm, then drop straight down, up, and over, right when you get to that nice tight spot. You know, now if I did this in one really fast motion, I'd probably damage that shoulder. If she's like Gumby, and I'm going to do a pin kind of bad so you can see. If she's like Gumby and I'm way over here and she's still not tapping, then I'm going to bend that elbow, lock it to me, and I'm going to turn the hand up. Now when I do that, after I bend the elbow, I'm just trying to get her hand to go to her head like this, right? Everyone will tap from this, right? I mean, maybe there's some contortionists who wouldn't, but 99% of people will tap from this, right? I've taken like, you know, little super flexible gymnast 11-year-old girls, and you're able to do this because this takes all the stretch out of that arm, right? So even a really flexible person, you're going to get them like that. Okay, so the basic idea of this is whenever I'm doing a pin, whether it's from a regular ureose or a gyaku ureose, I drop the inside knee first. When I'm doing that, I make sure that their shoulder precedes my knee. So my knee doesn't make contact till their shoulder's already hit. If someone's really lacking in flexibility, that might be enough to get them to tap right then and there. Then, if I can't get them to tap there, I lock it in. I use my leg to drive their arm forward. Most adults will start to tap in that range, okay? Then, if that doesn't work, I continue with the leg towards the head and secure the arm along my body. 90% of full adults are going to tap at this point. Now, if that doesn't work, I'm going to bend the elbow and crank the hand towards the head, and then that will get probably 99.9% of people to tap because it just takes all the slack out of the arm entirely. So that's the basic process. Depending on what pin you're using, there are slight variations on each of those, depending on if it's a Nikkyo pin or a Gokyo pin or a Sankyo pin, but all of them have that same exact structure, right? So that structure will be consistent. If you can master this structure, your pins will go through the roof right away. So your pins will get better immediately, regardless of the detail of that pin, right? So the Sankyo adds a little more wrist twisting in it, the Nikkyo adds a little more elbow emphasis in it, the Rokyo adds elbow wrist emphasis, so different ones require or have slightly different emphasis, but that is the main structure of all of them. All right, so I hope you found this useful. I'm Christopher Hein, that's Joshua Teehee, and Maya Solana McDaniel's right here. Oh, look, she gave you a thumbs up. See, I see this all the time, but you guys never get to see that. So she's right here. Yeah, it's the ghost. He's manned the cameras before when you weren't here. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video. Hey, I'm Christopher Hein. So, if you made it all the way through this video, chances are you kind of liked the way I presented stuff, or were so irritated by it that you wanted to watch more of it. So I have a Patreon page. Maybe that's just for you. You should check it out. There are literally hundreds of videos on that Patreon page. I've been making videos for Patreon since I think 2020 or 2021, and I've been making somewhere between 2 and 5 a week. So there are tons of videos up over there. So you might want to check that out. It's patreon.com, Christopher Hein. Hope to see you there.